Namaste. Namaste everybody. Namaste everybody. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Are you able to see? Are you able to see the thing?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. Namaste. Namaste. Other those who are not going to speak, please mute yourselves. And I request whoever is ready with initial 10 slokas chanting, you are please most welcome to chant. Who is
I will
planning?
chant.
Nobody
is chanting, then I will chant, doctor.
Today Padmaji, let Padmaji chant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Om Krishnaya Namaha. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Shu Upanidashu Brahma Vidyayam.
Padmaji, you unmute yourself. You are muted. Padmaji, you unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay, doctor. Thank you. Sri Krishnaya Namaha. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Shu Upanidashu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Moksha Sanyasa Yogo Nama Ashtadasotyayah. Arjuna Uvacha Sanyasasya Mahabaho Tattvam Ichchami Veditum Tyagacha cha Hrishikesha Pratakeshi Nishudana Kamyanam Karmanam Yasam Sanyasam Kavayo Viduhu Sarma Karma Palatyagam Pragustyagam Visakshanaha Tyajyam Dosha Vadityeke Karma Pahurma Nishinaha Yajna Dhana Tapak Karma Na Tyajyamiti Chapare Nishchayam Sunu Me Tatra Tyage Bharat Sattama Tyago Ki Purushatyaga Trivita Samprakirtitaha Yajna Dana Tapak Karma Na Tyajam Karyameva Tata Yajno Dhanam Tapaschaiva Pavanani Manishinam Yetanyapi tu karmani Sangam Tyaktva Phalani cha Kartavyaniti Me Partha Nishchitam Matam Uttamam Niyatasya tu sanyasaha Karmano Nopapadyate Mohatyasya Parityaga Stamasaha Parikirtitaha Dukkamityeva Yat Karma Kaya Klesha Vayatyajet Sakrutva Raja Samtyagam Naiva Tyaga Phalam Labet Karyamityeva Yat Karma Niyatam Kriyate Arjuna Sangam Tyaktva Phalam Chaiva Satyagaha Sattiko Mataha Na Dveshta Kushalam Karmam Kushale Nanu Shachyate Tyagi Sattva Samavishto Medhavi Chinna Shanshayaha Arjuna Uvacha Sanyasasya Mahabaho Tattvam Ichchami Veditum Tyagasya cha Rishikesa Vratakeshi Nishudana. The 18th chapter is a supplementary summarization of the topics of discussed before. In every chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna stresses the devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the ultimate goal of life. The same point is summarized in the 18th chapter at the most confidential path of knowledge. In the first 6 chapters, stress was given to devotional service, yoginam api sarvesham. In the next 6 chapters, pure devotional service and its nature and activity were discussed. In the last 6 chapters, knowledge, renunciation, the activities of material nature and transcendental nature and devotional service were described. Arjun said, "O Majesty, armed Krishna, I wish to understand the nature of the renunciation of actions and renunciation of desire for the fruits of action." The 2 words used in this verse to address the Supreme Lord, Rishikesha, Keshi Nishodhana, are significant. Rishikesha is Krishna, the master of all senses, who can always help us to attain mental serenity. Arjuna addresses Krishna as Keshi Nishodhan, means killer of Keshi the demon. Arjuna requests him to summarize everything in such a way that he can remain equipoised. Yet he has some doubts, and doubts are compared to demons. He therefore addresses Krishna as Keshi Nishodhana, and now Arjuna is expecting Krishna to kill the demon of his doubt. Sarvam Krishnarpanam.
Thank you very much, Padmaji, for such a nice chanting. And yes, first shloka you have explained of Moksha Sanyasa Yoga. We'll just last chapter, that is Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. So Traya means 3. There are 3 types of Shraddhas which we understood, along with 3 kinds of food, that is Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. Most of us have gone through food a lot. All of us are fond to go into Sattvic diet and all these things. But in addition to that, it's not only about the diet, it is also about our Shraddha, how we are worshipping. That is also important. Our Tapascharya, that is also of 3 types, that is Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. And finally, how we have to come out of all these things and enter into Gunatitaha state. That is what is continuously going in the mind of Arjun. And once again, Arjun has this doubt, and this, with the doubt only the chapter starts. That what Bhagavan Sri Krishna, I want to know what is the truth behind sannyas, how good it is, and what is this tyaga which we call it about. Okay, so he is moving into further deeper understandings, and these are now concluding conversation between Bhagavan Sri Krishna and Arjun. Last chapter, we will dwell into various aspects of these things. We will try to revise what we have seen previously, and we will dwell and we will try to become as sattvic as possible, even in terms of tyaga also. As we go on, we will continue, and at that time we will understand that the tyag also is sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. Sometimes tyag is just as you know, in politics we have seen many people renounce their chief ministerial post just to save themselves, not because they are really non-attached to the position. So we will see. Next, second one.
Namaste ji.
Namaste. Bhanumati ji, namaste.
Dvitiya shloka. Sri Bhagavan uvacha kamyanam karmanam nyasam sanyasam kavayo viduhu sarva karma palatyagam prahur tyagam vichakshana. पहले अध्यायों में जगह जगह में त्याग तथा संन्यास इति पदों का निर्देश किया गया है, किंतु वे संन्यास और त्याग दोनों शब्द स्पष्ट अर्थ युक्त नहीं है। उनका स्पष्ट अर्थ जानने की इच्छा से अर्जुन भगवान से अलग अलग जानना चाहते हुए जो प्रश्न किया पहला मंत्र में, उसका उत्तर इस मंत्र द्वारा स्पष्ट कर रहे हैं। बुद्धिमान यानी पंडित लोग पुत्र कामिष्टि अश्वमेध आदि सकाम कर्मों की त्याग को संन्यास समझते हैं, अर्थात सकाम कर्मों का न करना यही संन्यास शब्द का अर्थ इति समझते हैं। कुछ पंडित जन यानी कि विचक्षण लोग, पंडित जन नित्य नैमित्तिक कर्मों का फल का परित्याग करना, यानी जो सर्व कर्म फल त्याग है उसे ही त्याग कहते हैं। नित्य कर्मों का भी फल होता है। ये दोनों एक ही अर्थ जैसा दिखते हैं किंतु एक नहीं है। त्याग संन्यास से भिन्न है। त्याग संन्यास का प्रथम सीढ़ी है जो कर्म के अंत में लभ्यमान सुख दुख लाभ नष्ट जय अपजय आदि कर्म फलों का समत्व बुद्धि से स्वीकार करना त्याग है। स्वार्थ पर कर्मों का न करना संन्यास कहलाता है, यानी कि सेल्फिश मोटिव से, अर्थात कर्म फल का त्याग को त्याग कहा जाता है। अहंकार का त्याजन करना भी संन्यास होता है। संन्यास विकास का अंतिम घट्ट है। अहंकार का सर्वनाशनार्थम त्याग को उचित प्रकारेण अभ्यास करना पड़ता है। हरि ओम तत्सत।
Thank you very much, Bhanumati ji. What Bhagavan Sri Krishna here is, he has spoken, and Bhanumati ji also has stressed upon that part, that most of us we do the kind of nyasam, karma, all these things we do with respect to gaining health or wealth or dirghayushya, or we want putra pautradi adi, and then or else we want a lot of money or a lot of fame, like that, and that is all is coming under kamya karma. And this is not this is not this is not going to work, and we have to renounce this, renouncing of kamya karma, and then entering into the karma which is only for the benefit of all. And even if when we are doing it, it's not like, oh, I am doing for the benefit of all. That ego also should not come to us. So then what is the gist? If you see here, karma is used 2 times here. Kamyanam karmanam nyasam, and then sarva karma phalatyagam. So if you see, the whole chapter of karma yoga is about that only, that how we have to get rid of that desire of fruits of action. When we get rid of that desire itself, I mean, suppose I am doing some work like this Brahma Muhurt Yoga and this Bhagavad Gita and Patanjali Yoga Sutra and all these things, I should not expect people praising me. I should not expect people following me. I should not expect that, oh, people should recognize me and so on and so forth. This is the service of Sanskriti. This is the service of this civilization. This is the service of Sanatan Dharma. I have to do, and I have to forget about the fruits of actions. That is where the teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita are. That is the gist of Karma Yoga. That do the karma, forget about the phala. Sarva karma phala tyaga. This shabda, whenever you get confused, whenever you get dejected, whenever you get depressed, whenever you get anxious, whenever you get like, oh, this is not what I was thinking of, then at that time remember this word, sarva karma phala tyaga. Next, third person. Who is third person? Namaste. Ravi Shankar ji, na? Ravi Shankar ji is there. So Ravi Shankar ji is not able to, I think he is not able to log in. I will call him and then let him speak through the. Ravi Shankar ji, you are online. You can speak.
Yeah, this is sloka number 3, sir. Okay. Tyajyam dosha vati teki karma papu nishinaha yajnadana tapakkar natajyam iti chapare. Summary of this sloka is, some learned people declare that all kinds of action should be given up as evil, while others maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity and penance should never be abandoned. Some philosophers, such as those of the Sankhya school of thought, are in favor of liquidating mundane life as quickly as possible They opine that all actions should be abandoned because they are motivated by desire, which promotes further transmigration in the cycle of life and death. They contend that all works are subject to inherent defects such as indirect violence. For example, if one lights a fire, there is always the possibility of insects getting involuntarily burned in it. Hence, they recommend the path of cessation of all actions except those for the sustenance of the body. Other learned philosophers, such as those of Mimamsa school of thought, declare that prescribed Vedic activities should never be given up. They contend that wherever there are two contradictory injunctions of the Vedas, if a specific one is more prominent, it annuls the general one. For example, the Vedas instruct us do not commit violence towards any living entity. Ma himsat sarva bhutani. The same Vedas also instruct us to perform 5 sacrifices. This is a specific instruction. It is possible that in performing a 5 sacrifice, some creatures may get killed in the fire unintentionally. But the Mimamsakas contend that the specific instructions for performing the sacrifice prevails and it must be followed even though it conflicts with the general instruction for not committing violence. Therefore, the Mimamsakas say we must never give up beneficial activities such as sacrifice, charity, and penance. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Yagna, tapas, and danam. All these 3 things we have to continue to perform. That is the bottom line. But there will always be, as you said, there will always be confusion. There will always be people who will tell all the karma has to be renounced. But the thing is that we can't renounce karma when we have got this life. There is a meaning to the life. Another thing is that nothing comes in a straight line. For example, we get beautiful flowers, but many of these beautiful flowers, they are protected by thorns. And because thorns are growing, we don't stop growing flowers. This we have to remember. Then similarly, on outside, on looking superficially, we may find that some plants are poisonous or some animals are dangerous. But as we dive deep into it, we find that these same plants which are poisonous can be used to create some medicines which can be used in some diseases. And in the same manner, some animals who look dangerous or who are dangerous, we can train them and we can use for our domesticate works and all these things which we have seen previously. We have domesticated so many animals, and even in circus also you see that humans. I'm just giving an example. This example, they are not particularly meant for, showing superiority of the human race, but it is about how we look into things. How should we look into things? There is a middle path. There is in between. There are things. So extreme stuff is not good. Otherwise, what will happen if people start following this shloka just word by word? Then what will happen? That people will renounce all the action. Then human race will become one totally useless race. Just get born as soon as you understand that, we have to do tyaga. Then what we will do? We will just renounce. So everything, no. And then it will be like a slow suicide. We don't want that slow suicide kind of thing by fasting. Okay. So yes, karma has to be done. Karma phala tyaga has to be done. Okay. Sarva karma phala tyaga. Next one, 4th one. Ravi Shankar, I'll keep off the phone. Yeah. Namaste. Number 4. Who is number 4? Number 4. Number 4. Who is that?
Namaste, Doctor. This is Godamani.
Please, Godamani ji.
Namaste, Entry Bandhus. 18th chapter, Moksha Sanyasa Yoga. Moksha consists in securing lasting freedom from the bondage of mundane existence in the form of birth and death, and realize God, who is no other than supreme bliss. In this chapter of Moksha Sanyasa Yoga, Arjuna put his last question to Krishna, seeking to clarify the difference between sannyasa and tyaga. Now, Bhagavan Krishna, answering Arjuna's question, takes up the opportunity and sums up his entire teaching, which has been spread over the last 16 chapters. In the second and third shloka of this chapter, Lord replies by citing the views of some people, and Lord gives his verdict from the fourth verse onwards. Fourth shloka. Nishchayam shrunu me tatra tyage bharatasattama tyago hi purusha vyagra trivida samprakirtitaha. By addressing Arjuna as Bharatasattama and Purusha Vyagra, the Lord seeks to convey that of the three types of tyaga going to be discussed by him in the course of this chapter. He is capable of practicing the sattvic form of tyaga, which is only another name for karma yoga or the path of action, and should avoid the other two, the rajasic and tamasic types. In the beginning of this chapter, Arjuna requested the Lord to reveal the truth of both sannyasa and tyaga. And of these two, the Lord proceeds in this verse to discuss the truth of tyaga in the first instance. This is what is sought to be conveyed. I'm audible, Doctor? Hello?
In between, your voice was lost, Godamani ji.
Yes, it's disconnecting in between and getting connected automatically.
You please come in the area of where you have Wi-Fi or you have connectivity, Amma.
Yes, Doctor.
And then
Yes.
yeah, please. Now it is better.
Okay, Doctor. So I'll repeat it again.
Once again, it is getting fluctuated, Amma, voice.
I don't know why it is. I'm outside of near the gate.
Okay, Amma.
In the
You
beginning
continue,
of this,
Amma.
in the beginning of this chapter, Arjuna requested the Lord to reveal the truth of both sannyasa and tyaga. And of these two, the Lord proceeds in this verse to discuss the truth of tyaga in the first instance. This is what is sought to be conveyed by the use of the indeclinable tattva in this verse. Arjuna requested the Lord to expound the truth of the two separately, and the Lord has hinted as his intention to discuss the subject of tyaga alone without declining his request. This shows that he will discuss the subject of sannyasa later on. The use of the words me nishchayam in this verse is intended to convey that none of the views so far expressed by him fully represents his own view, which is now introduced by him. By referring am I audible? Hello?
No, Amma, it is going, Amma, again and again. You
Yes,
continue, Amma.
Doctor.
You continue. You continue.
Okay. By referring to the three types of tyaga mentioned in the Shastras, the Lord indicates that the view he holds on the subject is supported by the scriptures. This he does in order to show his regard for the scriptures. Sarvam Krishnarpanam. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Godamani ji. Here we have to understand once again, Bhagavan Sri Krishna is bringing this topic that Tyag also is of three types. And as we go on, we will understand. what
Yes.
tyaga is and what 3 kinds of tyaga are. Here very simple that it's very beautiful to see a puri getting fried in oil. Okay, a puri is getting fried in the oil, and that
Yes.
we have to take out the puri. It looks very beautiful. Puri gets prepared by getting fried in the oil. But if we don't take out the puri in time, it will burn. So
Yes.
tyag also is like that only. All our desires have to go off in time when this we are having this consciousness within this body, so that we can move on with the correct result, with the correct product. And that is this puri in this case. Similar example can be given of a pregnancy where a mother carries baby inside her womb, and if it is too much of time, it is both dangerous for mother as well as child.
Child.
Yes.
Yes.
Same way can be taken example of entering into college for education. If we don't come out in time, people will tell, "Hey, this is a failing student, continuously failing student. That is why he's not able to come out of the school or college." Okay. So tyag is similar. Tyag has to be, it's a part of action. It's a part of moving on, and this tyag has to be learned without any means it has to be practiced without any expectations. Let us see next one, 5th shloka. 5th one, who is that?
Again, Ravi Shankar.
Huh? Why two times people are taking? Ravi Shankar ji, please.
Yeah. Sloka number 5. Yajyam doshavadi yeki karma rahul mashinaha yasna dana tapak karma natyajamiti chapare. Summary of this sloka is, some learned people declare that all kinds of action.
Ravi Shankar ji, you chanted shloka number 3. You have to chant shloka number 5.
Yeah. Shloka number 5. Yajna dana tapak karma nadajam karyamevadat yajno danam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Summary of this shloka is, actions based upon sacrifice, charity and penance should never be abandoned. They must certainly be performed. Indeed, acts of sacrifice, charity and penance are purifying even for those who are wise. Here Sri Krishna pronounced his verdict that we should never renounce actions which elevate us and are beneficial for humankind. Such actions, if performed in the proper consciousness, do not bind us. Instead, they help us grow spiritually. Consider, for example, a caterpillar. In order to transform itself, it weaves a cocoon for its evolution and engages itself in it. Once it becomes a butterfly, it breaks open the cocoon and soars into the sky. Our position in the world is similar to this. Like the ugly caterpillar, we are presently attached to the world and bereft of noble qualities. As a part of oneself, our self-preparation, as a part of our self-preparation and self-education, we need to perform actions that bring about the inner transformation. We desire inner transformation. We desire yajna, that is sacrifice, dhana, that is charity, and tapa, that is penance, are acts that help in our spiritual evolution and growth. At times, it may seem that they are binding, but they are like the caterpillar's cocoon. They melt our impurity, beautify us from within, and effectually help us break through the shackles of earthly life. And Sri Krishna in this verse that such auspicious activities must never be abandoned. He now qualifies his statement by revealing the proper attitude with which they must be performed. Hari Om Tat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Thank you very much, Ravi Shankar ji. Such a beautiful example of caterpillar. It is exact example which all of us can learn from. That we all, if we want to become beautiful butterfly, we have to come out of the cocoon of the desires, and we have to do tyaga of all these desires, and for that yagna also has to be done, dana also has to be done, and tapas also has to be done. We will move on to the sixth one. Ravi Shankar ji, I'll keep off the phone. Yeah, thank you, namaste. Sixth one.
Namaste, sir. Indira ji.
Indira ji, namaste,
Kumar.
please. Please.
Om Gurubhyo Namaha. Shloka 6. Etanyaphi tu karmani sangam tiktva bhalani cha kartavyani me partha nishchitam madamuttamam. Meaning of the sloka. Here, Krishna tells Arjuna that whatever yagna, dana, tapas one may do, they should be done without caring for the fruits. Krishna affirms that it is his final opinion. Without any expectation, we have to do our karmas. They should be done as our duty only. The feeling of I and me is not at all correct. These are hindrances in the onward journey of man in self-realization. All yagnas and danas purifies one when it is done with bhakti and a service to Lord. Surrendering himself to the will of the Supreme when a karma is performed, it is the ideal way of devotion to Lord. Om Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Thank you very much, Indira ji. Yes, Bhagwan Sri Krishna is again and again, he is talking about, here also, Sangam Tyaktva Falanicha, means we have to give up the phala. We are not supposed to think about the phala. Examples are many, plenty examples are there. One medical example is there. Many of you are women. You will resonate with this example. That milk, milk, mother produces milk and the breast is full of milk when she has given birth to a child. And suppose by chance, the milk is not utilized, the breasts, they get engorged. And because of that, many a number of times they develop infection also. And there is something called as breast abscess also, which happens. Okay. So what does it mean? That if we are hoarding, here one prashna comes about dan, okay, it comes about tyag, it comes about aparigraha, means if we hoard the things, sometimes they are more damaging to us. Sometimes Allah, most of the times it is damaging to us, and that is why we have to give up. We have to do tyaga, we have to do tapascharya, we have to do dana, and then through that we will be able to go beyond and achieve moksha. Next one.
Namaste.
Kumar.
Namaskaram.
Namaskar.
Namaste.
No, who is that?
Vijay Kumar.
Vijay Kumar ji. Yeah, please.
I am chanting Sloka 7. Niyatasya tu sannyasa karmano nobabadhyate mohatasya parityaga tamasa parikirtitaha. The word by word translation stands like this. Indeed, the giving up of an obligatory action is not appropriate in most of the instances. Giving it up out of delusion is declared to be tamasic. This sloka highlights the renunciation aspect in the tamasic mode. Here, Bhagavan Sri Krishna discusses on karma yoga aspect ahead of categorizing the three aspects of tyaga or renunciation. He says, when we give up obligatory actions, or when we do not perform an obligatory action out of delusion, out of incorrect, error-prone knowledge, such renunciation is known to be tamasic tyaga, or tamasic renunciation. He says, such behavior is an inappropriate event and is not in line with the teachings of the knowledge or the karma yoga. Not doing one's duty is forbidden in karma yoga. Where do one's obligatory duties come from? They come from one's different stages in life, different stages of ashrama, and one's profession or varna. A householder is obliged to attend the needs of his spouse, his parents, or children, and if he does not help in the work, it is termed as tamasic behavior. A businessman should strive to generate healthy profits from his business ventures and contribute a portion of his wealth to charity by giving. Not doing so is also a tamasic behavior. Moha, delusion, can create all kinds of negative tendencies in us, as we have seen in previous chapters. It can cause heedlessness and carelessness where we do not pay attention to work at hand. It causes laziness and idleness where our body and mind becomes dull. It is hard to get out of the state of this moha, delusion, unless someone who is not tamasic intervenes. We remain in a state of tamas. Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Vijay Kumarji. It is this tamasic part, no, is everywhere. This tamasic tyag. Many of us want to escape the duty, and unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, whatever we can discuss, we can think in any manner. It depends. I was a part of tamasic tyag by one of my colleagues, and that resulted in a big disaster. Okay, and means I'm not justifying myself, but yeah, whatever I did was correct, and whatever he did was not correct. Okay, he had renounced his duty. And overburden came on me, and because of that, some things which happened. Ultimately, what happened is the person who is in action will be caught, and that is how I was punished for that. And obviously name calling will be there, and so many things will be there in life, and people will judge you very immediately, not knowing what exactly has happened. Nobody will go into the details of what has happened. They will catch the person in action. The person in action is far better than person who is not doing any action, or person who is running away from the duty. So I never felt bad about it. I knew that I had done what was supposed to be done, but yes, there was pain, there was suffering, there was lot of hustle, you can say, around it for almost 4 years. And then when it became too much, at that time I decided that I have to reveal what exactly has happened during that particular event. And then those who are patient enough and those who are good enough human beings, they will understand your plight, and they will oblige to help you. They will oblige to make a good thing out of whatever mess has happened. So ultimately, I was relieved from whatever accusations were. But definitely, if one does not perform duty, the results they can be like nuclear reaction, and because of that, there can be lots of things. But however, if you know karma yoga, you will continue to do your principal duties, and because of that, you will, in your own mind, when you are standing in front of the mirror, you will not feel bad. You will know that yes, you have done what needed to be done. Okay, and there was somebody else who renounced duty part of the karma. So duty part of the karma, niyatasya, we should not throw away. We should always do. We should play the role of father, we should play the role of son, we should play the role of husband, we should play the role of a friend, absolutely correctly. There are some duty parts to these roles in our lives. There are many other very heavy duty parts to the professions, like being doctor, being a lawyer, being an engineer. There are some very intense duty parts. Unfortunately, I am seeing everywhere in all the professions, there is escaping of the duty part. So that is, it's quite, it's quite painful. Anyhow, next one, 8th one.
नमस्कारम।
नमस्ते गौतम।
हाँ, सभी एनडी बंधुओं को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। मैं अष्टम श्लोक चैंट करने जा रहा हूँ, मोक्ष योग अध्याय 18वां अध्याय का। ओम श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ श्रीमद् भगवद गीता अथ अष्टादश अध्यायः अष्टम श्लोकः। दुःखम् इति एव यत् कर्म काय क्लेश भयात् त्यजेत् स कृत्वा राजसं त्यागं नैव त्याग फलं लभेत्। इस श्लोक में राजस त्याग के बारे में बताया गया है। जो कुछ कर्म है वह सब दुख रूप ही है। ऐसा समझकर यदि कोई शारीरिक क्लेश के भय से कर्तव्य कर्मों का त्याग कर दे तो वो ऐसा राजस त्याग करके त्याग के फल को किसी प्रकार भी नहीं पाता। इस श्लोक का तात्पर्य है दुखम इति एव यत् कर्मः। यज्ञ दान आदि शास्त्रीय नियत कर्मों को करने में केवल दुख ही भोगना पड़ता है, और उनमें है ही क्या, क्योंकि उन कर्मों को करने के लिए नियमों में बांधना पड़ता है और खर्चा भी करना पड़ता है। इस प्रकार राजस पुरुष को उन कर्मों में केवल दुख ही दुख दिखता है। दुख दिखने का कारण है उन्हें परलोक पर शास्त्र विहित कर्मों पर श्रद्धा विश्वास नहीं होता। काय क्लेश भयात् त्यजेत्। राजस मनुष्य को शास्त्र मर्यादा और लोक मर्यादा के अनुसार शरीर में क्लेश का अनुभव होता है। राजस मनुष्य अपने वर्ण आश्रम आदि धर्म का पालन करने में, माता पिता गुरु मालिक आदि का आज्ञा पालन करने में पराधीनता और दुख का अनुभव होता है। उनकी आज्ञा भंग करके और जैसी मर्जी वैसी कर्म करने में स्वाधीनता और प्रसन्नता अनुभव करता है। लेकिन हम लोगों को त्याग करना चाहिए, लेकिन कर्तव्य कर्मों का त्याग कभी नहीं करना चाहिए। जिन भोगों में सुख वृद्धि और गुण वृद्धि हो रही हो, उनमें बार बार दुख और दोष देखने से भोगों से वैराग्य होगा, जिससे परमात्मा तत्व की प्राप्ति होगी। परंतु नियत कर्मों में दुख देखकर उन कर्मों का त्याग करने से सदा पराधीनता और दुख भोगना पड़ेगा। कर्तव्य कर्मों का त्याग करने में तो राजस और तामस ये दो भेद है, पर परिणाम में आलस्य और अति निद्रा आदि दोनों ये जो स्वभाव हो जाते हैं तो दोनों एक ही हो जाते हैं। अर्थात परिणाम में दोनों ही तामस हो जाते हैं, जिसका फल अधोगति होता है। अधोगच्छन्ति तामसः। इसके बाद एक शंका भी उठ सकता है कि अगर सत्संग भगवत कथा भक्त चरित्र सुनने से किसी को वैराग्य हो जाए तो वह प्रभु को पाने के लिए आवश्यक कर्तव्य कर्म को छोड़कर केवल भगवान के भजन में लग जाते हैं। इसलिए उसका वह कर्म राजस कहा जाना चाहिए, ऐसा बात नहीं है। सांसारिक कर्मों को छोड़कर जो भजन में लग जाता है उसका त्याग राजस या तामस नहीं हो सकता, कारण कि भगवान को प्राप्त करना ही मनुष्य का ध्येय है। अतः उस ध्येय की सिद्धि के लिए कर्तव्य कर्मों का त्याग करना वास्तव में कर्तव्य का त्याग करना नहीं है, प्रत्युत तो असली कर्तव्य को करना है। उस असली कर्तव्य को करते हुए आलस्य
गौतम
प्रमाद
गौतम
आदि
गौतम गौतम रुक जाओ रुक जाओ रुक
दोष।
जाओ रुक जाओ रुक जाओ
हाँ
रुक
सर
जाओ
जी,
रुक
मौर्य
जाओ।
बोलिए।
नहीं, ये सही नहीं है। ठीक है, भगवान का नाम लेते हुए भी हम हमारा जो भी आश्रम है उसके कार्य कर सकते हैं, और उसके लिए सांसारिक कर्मों को छोड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है। ठीक है, क्योंकि ये हर एक के मतलब अगर आप वानप्रस्थ आश्रम में है और आप संन्यास आश्रम में है तो बात अलग है, पर एक गृहस्थ अगर अपना अपना गृहस्थ आश्रम छोड़ के चला जाए, हाँ ये हो सकता है कि उसका प्रारब्ध हो, ये उसका मतलब उसके मतलब कर्मों में यही लिखा हो कि हाँ ये करना है, ये बात अलग है। पर हम इसको जस्टिफाई नहीं कर सकते कि हाँ किसी ने भजन और भगवान का जप करना उसने शुरू कर दिया, भगवान को पाने के लिए उसने अपना घर बार छोड़ दिया, अपने बीवी बच्चों को छोड़ दिया, ये गलत बात है। ठीक है, इस तरीके से संसार नहीं चलता है, इस तरीके से सांसारिक कर्म या फिर ये पूरा ह्यूमन रेस ही नहीं बचेगा। अगर आप इस बात को सोचो, अगर बहुत सारे लोग 90% लोग अगर उन्होंने ऐसा करना शुरू कर दिया तो क्या ह्यूमन रेस बचेगा?
नहीं,
खत्म हो जाएगा ना। तो ये जो
जी
बात है ये सही नहीं है। इसको हम जो भी हम कर रहे हैं, सांसारिक कर्म जो भी कर रहे हैं, उसमें साथ में हमने भगवान में लीन होना है, उसी के साथ भक्ति क्या करना है। इसीलिए तो कर्मयोग के पूरे चैप्टर है ना। कर्मयोग के चैप्टर क्यों है फिर? कर्मयोग के चैप्टर ही नहीं रखने थे, भक्ति योग ही रखना था सिर्फ, ऐसा नहीं हुआ ना।
एकदम
हाँ तो
एकदम सही है।
इसीलिए, हाँ इसीलिए प्लीज इस बात को, ये जो भी किताब पढ़ रहे हो उसमें बहुत बार ऐसा होता है ना कि इनडायरेक्टली अंदर से इंसान है ना अपने जो डिसीजन होते हैं उसको जस्टिफाई करने की कोशिश करता है। ठीक है, जो ऑथर होता है ना, जो लेखक होते हैं,
हाँ
वो अपने खुद के जो मतलब डिसीजन उसने लाइफ में लिए होंगे वो उनको वो जस्टिफाई करने का कोशिश करते हैं अपनी लेखनी द्वारा। ठीक है,
यस
तो इस वजह से वो बोल देंगे कि नहीं ऐसा कर दोगे, भगवान को पाने के लिए त्याग कर दोगे तो चलेगा, ऐसे करोगे तो फिर अभी सभी लोगों ने ऐसा करना छोड़ शुरू कर दिया तो सारी औरतें और सारे बच्चे रह जाएंगे भाई, या तो फिर आदमी रह जाएंगे बच्चों के साथ, औरतें बोलेंगी नहीं हमको भगवान को पाना है, निकल लेंगी इस्कॉन की तरफ, तो क्या होगा फिर, है ना।
यस
हाँ प्लीज इस
ठीक,
बात को समझो, और थैंक यू वेरी मच। आगे और कुछ बोलना है क्या?
धन्यवाद।
हाँ
जी थोड़ा सा
हाँ बोल दो।
सकृत्वा राजसम राजसम त्यागम नैव त्याग फलम लभेत। त्याग का फल शांति है। राजस मनुष्य त्याग करके भी त्याग का फल को नहीं पाता, कारण कि उसने जो त्याग किया है वो अपने सुख आराम के लिए किया है। ऐसा त्याग तो पशु पक्षी आदि भी करता है। अपने सुख आराम के लिए शुभ कर्मों का त्याग करने से राजस मनुष्य को शांति तो नहीं मिलती, पर शुभ कर्मों का त्याग का फल दंड रूप से जरूर भोगना पड़ता है। हरिओम, जय श्री कृष्ण, सर्वम श्री कृष्ण अर्पणमस्तु।
थैंक
धन्यवाद
यू
मोहन
थैंक
जी। मैं तो मैं बस बुक पढ़ता हूँ और बोलता हूँ, मुझे उतना ज्ञान तो नहीं है, बट आप लोगों के
पहले
साथ
एक
अभ्यास
काम कर लिए करो, थोड़ा सा पढ़ लिए करो, क्योंकि इट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। क्योंकि बहुत सारे बार ऐसा ही होता है कि देखो भगवान श्री कृष्ण अभी इस बात को छोड़ देते हैं, हम आगे निकलते हैं। भगवान श्री कृष्ण हैज ब्रॉट दिस टॉपिक ऑफ त्याग इन द लास्ट चैप्टर वेयर इट इज बिगिनिंग विद द त्याग। व्हाट अर्जुन इज डूइंग? Arjun is trying to escape from the duty of fighting the war. Correct? So
Yes, sir.
some of the people will describe it as tamasic tyag. Some of the people may describe it rajasic tyag, but definitely it is not sattvic tyag. Okay. So to run away from the duty is not a correct kind of tyag. So either what I feel, it is both tamasic as well as it has a component of rajasic tyag. Arjun does not want himself also to be harmed and his family also to be harmed. That is why it comes under this rajasic kind of tyag also. Correct? So
Yes.
this tyag is not correct, and that is why itna sara chapters sunane ke baad 18th chapter mein Bhagwan Sri Krishna once again is bringing this topic, and he is telling indirectly that beta Arjun, you are a tiger, you are like a tiger, and you are escaping from the duty, and you are escaping because you don't want to harm your body or your family's body, and you are escaping this. And that is why here we have to understand that Arjun is facing this problem of understanding tyag, understanding sannyas. He was ready to escape ना, पूरा धनुष बाण छोड़ के रोने लग गए थे कि नहीं यार मेरे से तो नहीं होगा, अपने ही रिश्तेदारों को मारना नहीं होगा, तो मैं तो जा रहा हूँ, है ना। तो जाने वाली बात नहीं करना है, वो कभी कभी वो सब चीजें सही नहीं है, वो कभी कभी हमको एक्शन लेना पड़ता है, पर एक्शन का उसका we are not supposed to think about the fruits of the action. Okay, so the whole essence of Bhagavad Gita was about duty, about the tyag which Arjun was trying to do, and he was not understanding it correctly. That is where in the last chapter Bhagwan is explaining him what is tyag. Okay, what is true tyag. Next one, last one. No, second last one. Ninth one.
Yeah. Namaste, doctor.
Namaste ji. Who is this?
Shashikala, sir.
Shashikala ji. Namaste ma. Please.
Karyamityeva yat karma niyatam kriyate arjuna sangam tyaktva palam chaiva satyagaha satviko mataha. See, when actions are undertaken in response to duty and one relinquishes attachment to any reward, O Arjuna, it is considered renunciation in the nature of goodness. Sri Krishna also describes the superior kind of renunciation, where we continue to perform our obligatory duties but give up attachment to the fruit of actions. He describes this as highest kind of renunciation, which is situated in the mode of goodness, that is sattvic. Renunciation is definitely necessary for spiritual attainment, but the problem is that people's understanding of it is very, very shallow, and they consider it to be only the external abandonment of works. Such renunciation leads to hypocrisy, in which, while externally donning the robes of renunciation, one internally contemplates upon the objects of the senses. There are many sadness of actually in India who found their actions did not lead them to higher spiritual life at all, because first they strove first for external renunciation and later for internal detachment. Here I'm talking about the sadhus who wanted to attain. The very gist of this sequence is first develop internal detachment and then renunciate externally. Thank you, and Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu.
Thank you very much, Shashikala ji. Thank you very much. Simple, very, very simple. What has to be done has to be done without any expectation. It's very easy to tell, but if somebody does not appreciate for our work which we have done, we feel bad. Okay, it means it's not, and somebody does not pay us the money for what work we have done, we will feel bad, obviously. So definitely there in the practical life, it's very, very interesting. It's very it's not a straight line. It's not that okay, Satvik is red color and Rajasic is white color, and Tamasic is black color. It's not like that. It's not a say like one, it's not like there is no vertical divide into this. It is very, very mixed. It is always we have to keep on thinking, keep on introspecting, keep on analyzing, and after that we will be able to improve our understanding and then keep on doing correct things. Sometimes we need a guru, sometimes we need somebody who is able to guide us that okay, this is the right way of doing tyag, And that is where we should have mentors. Mentors are everywhere. You can have one mentor, you can have multiple mentors. It's not a problem. Your parents are your mentors, your brothers and sisters are your mentor, even your children are your mentor, your teachers are your mentors, your friends are your mentors. Whenever we take a suggestion from a person whom we have Shraddha in, Shraddha means we have faith in, and who is intelligent enough to help us out. So that is what will help us to correctly do the Tyaga. Okay, next one, last one for the day, 10th sloka.
Namaste, Doctor.
Namaste ji.
Rajeshwari.
Rajeshwari ji, please. Namaste. Continue.
Nadveshtya kushalam karma kushalena tyagi sattva samavishtaha medhavi chinna samsayaha. Those who neither avoid disagreeable work nor seek work because it is agreeable are persons of true renunciation. They are endowed with quality of mode of goodness and have no doubts about the nature of work. People who are sattvic do their duty under all conditions without feeling elated when the going is good or feeling dejected when the life becomes tough. They are like a dried leaf that is tossed hither and thither by passing breeze. Instead, they are like the reeds in the sea, gently negotiating every rising and following waves. That is equanimity of mind. Sarvam Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rajeshwari ji, Rajeshwari ji. Here means we have to be very, very, very ready to accept whatever is coming to us. Okay. And when we are accepting, then only we will be able to find what is going on, and we will be able to discriminate correctly. It's not discrimination into our favor, it is discrimination to understand whether we are doing correct thing or not. Okay, so if a person is sattvic, a sattvic person will be very, very intelligent, and that intelligence comes only with patience. It does not come to impatient people, it does not come to ignorant people, it comes only with the patience, and that patience will lead us towards this kind of practices, sattvic, tyaga, and all these things. Okay, so for today we will pause here. Okay, and we will see next 11 to 20 shlokas on the next week. And if anybody wants to are interested in summarizing the previous chapters, just like full chapter in just a gist, you are most welcome, starting from chapter 1 till chapter 17. So next week we can have one person, only one person will give a slot of only 5 minutes, to describe in gist of chapter 1, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Okay, so that is one list, one person in the end you can put it at chapter 1, just 5 minutes summary. Chapter 1, Arjuna Vishada Yoga in 5 minutes. Okay, with that we will pause here. Adopt Namaskara Mudra, Omkar followed by Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Ba. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. With your eyes closed, slowly take your both the hands back. Hold your right wrist with the left palm. Inhale, arch your back. Look up. Exhale, bend from the root of the back. Touch your forehead to the ground. Express gratitude to Mother Earth, Almighty, your parents and Guru. Slowly inhale and come up. Slowly release your hands.
Thank you, sir.
You can open your eyes. Thank you very much, everybody. Next week, 11 to 20 and chapter 1 summary in 5 minutes.
Namaste, everybody.
Thank you.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste,
Namaste.
doctor. Namaste, doctor.
Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
शुभरात्रि सभी को।
Shubharatri.
Everybody.
Shubharatri. Parthav is also telling Shubharatri to all of you. Thank you. Shubharatri.
Thank you, Partha.
Parthav. Thank you. Thank you.